Ready?
Mm-hmm. 1, 2. Right. So now should I turn it off? Good afternoon and welcome to Norwich Rugby Club. It's a very wet and windy day here, so apologies if sound keeps cutting out with all the wind. Today we have the Norwich Rugby team, starting with Charlie Jeffries at number 1, Phil Buckley at number 2, Ollie Masters at number 3, Tom, who is vice captain today, at number 4, Nick Brown at number 5, Dave West at number 6, I'm going to butcher this surname, Mickleth Waite, who is captain today, at number 7, Lawrence Austin at 8, Charlie Profit at 9, Theo Elliott at 10, Cameron Horide at 11, Rav at 12, Jake Walton at 13, Lewis Kenworthy at 14 and Monty Snary at 15. And then their finishers for today are Ryan Green, Josh Wilson and Conan Hoey. For the Thurrock team, there is Tom Wellman at number 1, Lawrence Brown at number 2, Aaron Antrobus at number 3, Caelan Watts-Adams at number 4, Jay Jennings at number 5, Dan Ulf at 6, Cody Holloway at 7, Ben Timpson, captain for today, at 8, Alex Jones at 9, Dan Stone 10, Harry Reynolds 11, Noel Clifford and vice-captain at 12, Blake Burns 13, Kai Holloway at 14 and Reece Cotter at 15, with their finishers Ed Stevens, James Roger and Lewis Tricot. Unfortunately, Ralph wasn't able to join us today as he's not feeling too well, so all the best wishes to him for a speedy recovery. This ought to be quite an exciting game for today, as Norwich are currently one place above Thurrock in the league with a 2-point difference. And every game between these two sides usually ends up quite close and quite a good watch. Luckily, Ralph has supplied me with a bit of his knowledge today, so we'll probably hear a bit more about the history of Norwich a little bit later on, probably around half-time. Today we'll be having Thurrock's Dan Stone kicking off towards Norwich to start the game. Brilliant kick downfield, although the wind does drop it a bit short, but a fantastic catch there from Tom Lloyd. And Norwich kick back towards Thurrock. And once again Thurrock kicks back. And just knocked on there by Norwich. So with the first line out of the game. Very successful line out for Thurrock, but unfortunately it wasn't straight, which brings it back for a scrum to Norwich. Strong scrum from Thurrock. Norwich are just unable to keep hold of the ball. It comes out the side, goes through the hands very nicely and just bounces off the shoulder of Harry Reynolds and is picked up by Jake Walton. Very quick off the line there from Dan Ulf. And referee Dean Crossley brings it back for penalty to Norwich. And Norwich kick into touch just past the halfway line. Fantastic set piece there from Norwich forwards, although Thurrock are very quick to put a stop to the progression of them all. Oh, it does seem a bit messy there. But Norwich gets out to the backs. Fantastic run in there from Rav. Manages to gain quite a few metres of ground. Nice little ankle tap there from, I believe that was Caelan Watts-Adams. And the ball just goes into touch in the Thurrock half. Very quickly there. Once again, a very strong from Thurrock, although Norwich put in all they can to stop the movement. However, it continues pushing upfield further and further towards the halfway line. I personally believe that was quite a good effort there. Someone trying to nutmeg themselves. Personally, if I was a ref, I would have let that one go.
Is she not saying what she's saying? I don't know if you are telling.
Already in the first 5 minutes, we can see this might be quite a forward-orientated game today. We're already having another scrum after several line-outs. Good hands there, once again by Rav. This time run into contact by Dave McKithelwaite. Lovely kick downfield from Norwich. Fantastic offload from Reece Cotter to Harry Reynolds. Once again, a lovely set piece, although that was almost resulted in a very high tackle. The ball is once again kicked back into the Thurrock half. Once again, a bit of a high tackle there. But the ref says that Thurrock were holding onto the ball and gives the penalty to Norwich. Norwich seem to have decided to take an attempt at getting points, just to get a few on the board within the first 10 minutes, and they're going for the kick. This is quite a distance to get a conversion, but I'm sure we've got quite a bit of faith in Norwich's team kicker. A fantastic kick, shows the first 3 points of the game. So that now makes it Norwich 3, Thurrock 0. Once again, a brilliant kick into the Norwich half, just missed by Harry Reynolds, although a fantastic attempt. Once again, it's been passed back to Norwich's team kicker and kicked downfield, straight to the hands of Harry Reynolds. Excellent resistance from the tackle. And once again, the ref has given the penalty to Norwich. Not quite sure what that was for. The ball is in and Thurrock do well to drive Norwich back, although they maintain possession of the ball. It goes straight to Harry Reynolds once again, who passes to Reece Cotter. And is kicked back to Norwich, and then gathered up by Lewis Kenworthy, who was brought to the ground by Niall Clifford. Taken into contact by, I believe, Lawrence Austin, and stolen by Thurrock from Dan Ulf. Although the ref, I believe that says that was a double movement, so has given Norwich the penalty. Once again, the ball is kicked downfield by Theo Elliott, further into the Thurrock half. Very using line out from Norwich. Oh, but the ball is stolen once again by Thurrock, who do very well to cover their teammate in the ruck. Ball passed through many hands there, but unfortunately just went to ground. Once again, the ball is stolen by Thurrock. Fantastic duo of Harry Reynolds and Reece Cotter, but unfortunately the ball was knocked on. Once again, we find ourselves setting up for a scrum. Once again, strong drive from Thurrock, but the ball is out early, but well seen by Alex Jones, who jumped straight onto Charlie Profit to stop the ball going any further. Very well fought for there by Cody Holloway. And the Thurrock has given a the referee has given a Thurrock penalty. Lovely kick from Dan Stone downfield. Didn't quite go out into touch, however, it was knocked on by Lewis Kenworthy. Current drive of Thurrock's scrums, they might be able to get a nice set piece out to the backs and potentially a try. Decided to hold their ground instead of attempting to push. And a brilliant gap is seen by Thurrock. Nice offload there from Harry Reynolds. Brought back inside again by Dan Ulf. Run into contact again by Lawrence Brown. Thurrock are doing very well today to pass through the hands, and the try is scored by This is a very difficult kick for a right-footed kicker. Awkward angle, especially with the wind being against him. A brilliant attempt which gets the conversion. That now brings it to 7-3 to Thurrock. This time Norwich is kicking off to Thurrock. It's taken in by Caelan Watts-Adams. Cody Holloway does well to drag the ball out by someone else. Excellent ruck from Thurrock, which wins them the penalty, as Norwich were holding on to the ball. Danstone will likely be looking for a lengthy kick and gets one just on the other side of the halfway line. This time we'll be lining up for a Thurrock line out. Very simplistic, very old school, and always works. Well, for the Thurrock. Seems to be quite a crushing maul with multiple bodies, very sure, but Jay Jennings does well to hold on to the ball. They're continuing their strong drive, but the ball is stolen by, I believe that is Lawrence Austin again. And then it goes to the hands of Cameron Horide. And Thurrock do well to keep the ball in the ruck. I believe that was a bit of an attack on Charlie Prophet. And Thurrock win the penalty. That was a brilliant opportunity seen by Norwich, but unfortunately for them was just brought short with probably a fantastic try by Thurrock's determination. Dunstone kick once again just quite doesn't go out into touch, although there's always a black and white shirt there to clear it up for them. Many hands that ball has gone through in that one run. Although Cody Holloway does well and takes the option to hold on to the ball. Nice attempt there by Lawrence Austin to take the ball and go for a run. Unfortunately, it ended up in a knock-on. Reece Cotter did very well to hold on to the ball in that contact. This time being run in by Ben Timpson, captain of Thurrock. Ball is lost in contact. The referee calls for a knock-on. I'm not quite sure who to. Ah, there we go, to Thurrock. Again, Thurrock decide to hold their ground instead of pushing and possibly losing their advantage. Fantastic solo run on the opposite wing, so unfortunately I cannot see the number. Very hard hit there from Norwich. There was a very high tackle from Norwich. So, one of the penalties you do not want to be given. It's probably the most dangerous one in the sport. Although, other than that, Norwich have done very well to be hitting the knees and ankles of Thurrock and getting them to the floor quite gracefully. And Norwich has been given a yellow card. I believe that was actually captain Dave Micklethwaite. No, my apologies, it was actually Theo Elliott, number 10. So Norwich will be continuing the majority of the rest of this half with a man down, although that doesn't seem to have deterred them in any way. There, and I think that was just out of the try zone. That one would have made the history books if that had been a try. It was a fantastic effort. Nice stop there by Reece Cotter, who attempts to kick it back and has the same issue. Fantastic kick downfield there by number 14, Lewis Kenworthy. Unfortunately, the same issue, that it doesn't quite make the length of the pitch. I believe the linesmen have got their job cut out for them today. Lots of kicking and lots of line breaks. Once again, Thurrock go for the simpler option of a natural line out and continue to drive forwards. And some of the Norwich players are actually helping them by being on the wrong side of them all. Bit of confusion, but nice kick into touch. We do apologise if the camera work is a little bit shaky. We are currently on the roof of Norwich Rugby Club, so it is a bit windy up here if you can't tell by the linesman's flag. Once again, Norwich go for the more complicated attempt at a line out, but like we saw there, unless it is well drilled, it can often lead to confusion and go wrong, which is then left gap for Cody Holloway to run straight through the middle and find a gap. Fantastic offloads from Thurrock, and once again a high tackle that the ref has given the advantage for. It's a fantastic set of play from Thurrock. Run in once again by Lawrence Brown. And kick just over the top and missed by, I believe that was Cameron Horide again. It's always difficult with a funny shaped ball. It can go any way, unlike football. And this time Dan Stone kicks into touch just before the try line. This time Thurrock go for the more complex line out and is called back for not throwing the ball straight. We appear to have an injury on the Norwich side, so we'll probably be taking a few minutes out. This injury might take a little bit of time, looks to be a hamstring issue, so some words from Ralph Henderson that he supplied me with today. So Norwich, the largest city in eastern England, has a long history in rugby dating back to 1884. It's easy to forget the importance of rugby in East Anglian, but when recalling that the game was first developed in the public schools and universities, the pre-eminence of Cambridge meant that there was a constant supply of players in the shires. Both Ipswich and Norwich hosted England trials in the 50s. Thurrock first met Norwich in an Eastern Counties semi-final 50 years ago. So this rivalry has been going for quite some time. Thurrock had achieved their goal by winning the Essex Cup for the first time that season and were unaware of the significance of reaching the National Cup. Subsequently, with several key players on holiday, a much depleted team entered the fray at Blackshots. Even then, Thurrock had probably done enough when Thurrock legend Norman Brown appeared to touch down. Unfortunately, with no TMO available, Norwich proceeded into the next round. But a few years later, Thurrock were deprived again when the referee gave a penalty to the home side after Dennis Stone had made an attempt to intercept as a means of player development. Obviously, we are very thankful for that. At Thurrock, we have our own Emily Scott, who has played for the Great Britain Sevens team in the Olympics. Always great to have a strong women's and men's side at one rugby club. Obviously, we'll hear a little bit more of that later on at half-time, or if there's another injury, hopefully not. There was a very near breakthrough by Norwich, once again brought to the ground by Lawrence Brown. And a surprise try scored by Thurrock. I think that was Ben Timpson, captain for today. Obviously, it's always lovely to have a surprise try, straight through the middle of a mess of bodies. But that now brings the score to 12-3 to Thurrock. Obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning of the game, this was always going to be a difficult match for both sides. I think anyone can agree with that. With there being less than 10 minutes on the time. Obviously, the last game was a 46-29 win for Norwich, so I'm sure they're not going to be falling asleep in the second half. I'm sure they're going to want to be keeping their wins for this season against Thurrock. However, Reese is pushing the lead of Thurrock in this game, bringing it to 14-3 with a successful conversion. Goes straight to the hands of Caelan Watts-Adams, who fights for every metre that he gains against Dave West. The Thurrock forwards doing well to lay the groundwork for the back line to run through. With a perfect set piece, a fantastic solo run by Reese Cotter. Amazing support play. Can't quite see who that is. I think that was Dan Stone. Support has been brilliant this game for Thurrock. Offload from Ben Timpson to Caelan Watts-Adams, who scores another try before the end of the first half. Thurrock are doing very well today to keep Norwich on their toes, not performing the same piece twice, and it seems to be working to their advantage. Once again, Reese lines up for a very difficult kick from the left side. Fortunately for him, the wind seems to be blowing from the direction that he's kicking. Although it doesn't do much to deter him, it does unfortunately block his shot at the conversion. So the score is now 19-3 to Thurrock. The Norwich yellow card should be up very soon, as there's not long left of the first half. This time the ball going straight to the hands of Aaron Artrobus. Stolen from the hands of Lawrence Brown by Norwich, although stolen back again by Ben Timpson, although the referee calls it for Thurrock being off their feet. A very nice kick further into Thurrock's half, only a few meters from the try line. I'm sure Norwich are hoping to at least get a try on the board before the end of the match. Well, hopefully by the end of the match, but before the end of the half. Once again, Norwich attempt a very difficult set from the line out, and it's stolen by Cody Holloway. Very good tackle from number 11, Cameron Horide there, although Thurrock maintained the possession of the ball. The kick away the pressure, very nicely into touch. Although they're still in their half, it's at least relieved a bit of the pressure from being so close to their own try line. This time Norwich opt for the more simple version of a line out, and Thurrock's fingertips just missed the ball, although they're making up for it for a very strong counter, which forced Norwich to play out the ball. Very good hit by number 13, Blake Burns. The ref calls it back for a knock-on. We may have a few extra minutes for this half, obviously, with the injury. Unfortunately, the ref's watch doesn't stop when the ball does. This could be Norwich's last attempt at a try for this half. They're very quick off the line to attack Monty Snary. And an excellent counter ruck from Thurrock. Although Norwich are given the advantage. Very long pass from Theo Elliott. Norwich kick the ball. There's a chase between Thurrock and Norwich. It seems like a massive body's trying to get to the ball. The ref calls it back for an earlier infringement. Although I don't quite remember it being that close. Once again, the ball is in the hands of Theo Elliott, who is going to attempt to kick it as close to the try line as possible. And does so. As Cody Holloway helps to show the linesman where the ball went into touch, just in case he missed it. Norwich just overshoot the length of the train of people for the line out. And very well fought for by Dan Olf again. Driven into contact very well by Lawrence Brown. Deciding to opt for the kick. Nobody seems to be on it. But Cody Holloway is straight to the man with the ball. And I believe that was Niall Clifford that has gone straight into overturn. And number 7, Cody Holloway, is now taken over from scrum half. And once again, a chip kick from Dan Stone. As he receives his own kick and manages to run half the length of the pitch, but offloads at the last minute to give, I believe, that was Kai Holloway the try. And unfortunately for Norwich, I think they thought they were going to get the last try of the first half, but Thurrock steal it from them, bringing it to 24-3. Reece Cotter lines up for what is most likely the last kick of the half and ends it with points, giving the conversion to Thurrock, bringing it to 26-3. Getting ahead of myself there, giving extra points. However, I believe I was wrong with it being the last kick, as we seem to be waiting for Norwich to kick to Thurrock once again. Excellent option from Aaron Atrevus. But unfortunately, as he was offside, the referee has brought it back for penalty. Very unfortunate there, but an excellent try. Got to award the effort. And Jay Jennings has stolen the ball and run straight into contact. And this time the ball is kicked off the pitch and it is blown for half time. So at half time that leaves the score as 26-3 to Thurrock. I'm sure the second half will be as competitive as the first and hopefully as eventful. Obviously, carrying on from our earlier history, entering the Norwich Sevens for the first time, Thurrock were not overawed by the presence of former winners, Northampton and Saracens. The team of Graham Morris, Steve Nash, Bob Burt, Ralph Henderson, who was captain, and Ray Page, Peter Worsfold and Jeff Wainwright swept all before them to dominate the competition. The local newspapers, sorry Ralph, can't say that word, that this had been the best Sevens performance ever witnessed at Norwich. Last season, Norwich did the double over Thurrock, and this year were victorious in the fixture at Oakfield. And we give a warm welcome this afternoon to Phil Peggs, a teammate of Ralph Henderson at Thurrock before an illustrious career at Norwich, where he later became chairman. Obviously, thank you, Ralph, for helping me out a bit. I'm not very well rehearsed on my history. But as I said previously, hopefully the second half will bring as much excitement as the first, as Thurrock have chosen to stay out on the pitch in the freezing cold weather, and Norwich have decided to retire inside to the changing rooms. That is it for the first half, and hopefully we'll have a brief break and be back in the second half. And welcome back to the second half of Thurrock versus Norwich. It's a very quick break.
Norwich kicking into the wind.
Once again, we are preparing for Norwich to kick. This time they will have the opposite issues of the first half, same as Thurrock, as they will be kicking into the wind. Alan does well to hold on to the ball, while being tackled by about 3 or 4 of the opposition's players. And the referee calls a Thurrock penalty. I believe Norwich were kicking the ball in the ruck, which obviously is quite a dangerous thing to do, so you never know what you're going to catch with your foot or your stud. As I'm sure quite a few of the men have experienced before. Personally, I have not. But the ball was kicked by Thurrock just into Norwich's half. Straight to the hands of Jay Jennings, who seems to be having a bit of a fight with one of the Norwich players. Ben Timpson, a very nice offload before the hit. Excellent set there from Kalen to the hands of Cody Holloway. And the referee gives a penalty to Thurrock. Not quite sure what that hand movement is. There's a nice kick into touch once again. Although for this half the timer hasn't been restarted, so I will not be able to commentate how long we have left of the game. Once again to the hands of Jay Jennings, who continues to fight off the same opponent. Although Thurrock are getting dangerously near the touchline, they bring it back straight to the backs, and lovely offload once again to the hands of Reece Cotter, who dummies just at the right time and offloads to, I believe that is Harry Reynolds. Back inside, and I think that was Lawrence Brown. Excellent hands from Thurrock. Thurrock are given the advantage. Not that they needed it anyway, as Kalen scores the first try of the half. So within, I believe, the first 5 minutes, the score is now 31-3 to Thurrock. Unfortunately, the conversion, or the attempt at a conversion, just went to the left. So the score, once again, remains at 31-3. Norwich are very quick to kick off to make sure they make the most of their time. And they managed to push Thurrock into touch, although I think that might have been by a few blades of grass. The referees asked for time off. I think there's an injury on the Thurrock side this time. And that seems to be Blake Burns for the Thurrock side coming off. He had a minor injury earlier in the game. But we continue yet. And once again it goes to the hands of Cody Holloway. This time being run in by Ben Timpson. Thurrock continues to go the same way. Gaining a vast amount of ground. Excellent offload. But the Norwich do very well to turn over the ball. Referee give Norwich the penalty. It's always a probably main concern of a front row forward is when the scrum collapses. Obviously that's a fear of confined spaces. I hope no one in the front row has. This time the scrum is successful, although it is turned. The second failed attempt at getting this ball out. Let's hope this scrum is more successful than the previous two. Although Norwich appears to be pushing early, so Thurrock are given the penalty. So it was an unfortunate turn of events when you have your own scrum and it gets turned over by an unfortunate mistake. Very high kick once again by Dan Stone, but very well received from Monty Snary, who attempts to kick it back, but only goes so far and into touch. Once again, Thurrock take the line out. Although there seems to be a bit of confusion on who has the ball. But the ball is taken to ground and Norwich are awarded the penalty. And for most likely back chat, Thurrock are driven back 10. Norwich are given an advantage, not quite sure what for, didn't see that there. But Norwich are doing very well to progress forwards at a steady rate. And continue to do so, putting Thurrock under quite a vast amount of pressure. Although there was clearly another infringement, the referee has brought it back to the previous one. Very quick play from Norwich, who take it out to the left wing. It's an excellent handoff from number 12, Rav. Though just trips and is brought to the final resting place of Reece Cotter. Number 6, Dave West, makes an excellent break in the line. Sadly, Aaron Antrobus was just in the way of that pass, so the referee calls it back for a penalty. There's clear frustration on the pitch from both sides. Hopefully it doesn't escalate any further. Number 7 and captain for today, Dave runs it in. The pass goes a bit awry, and I think that was Ben Timpson brings it to ground. The Thurrock steals the ball, although the referee brings it back for another penalty. And Thurrock's number 18, unfortunately I'm not aware who's in that shirt, is given a yellow card, the second of the game. This time Nick Brown runs into contact. Followed by, once again, Captain Dave. Excellent tackle from Jay Jennings, straight for the ankles. Norwich continue to keep knocking on the door. Thurrock are refusing to let them pass, although the referee may have just given them a helping hand to score their first try of the game. That is bringing the game to 8:31 to Thurrock. So the tensions are quite high in this second half, as Norwich have a small amount of catching up to do, although it isn't impossible. It's still obviously anyone's game. As I believe number 10, Theo Elliott, is lining up for the conversion. It's quite a short kick and fairly central to the pitch, although the wind can always change that. And the success of that conversion brings it to 31-10 to Thurrock. Dan Stone kicks off from the halfway line, this time to the hands of Dave West. He runs it into contact, although Thurrock do well to stop him dead with a great tackle from Caelan Watts-Adams. This time Lawrence Austin running into contact. The referee stops play for an injury.
Do a bit more of your history now.
Luckily, the Thurrock injury doesn't seem to be too severe, so they're able to continue. Although Cody Holloway has been taken off. Norwich prove a very strong scrum. There's an excellent steal from Ben Timpson. The referee thought it was a little bit too high, unfortunately. Although it'd be fantastic if he was successful in that. An excellent double tackle there from Vidas Downstone and Aaron Atrobus. Norwich do very well to see a gap in the Thurrock defence, having an overlap on the far side of the pitch. This time run into contact by Tom Lloyd. As Norwich continues to go the same way with Captain Dave. They are awarded an advantage. High tackle. Oh. Thought Norwich would have been happy with that call, but unfortunately for the ref, he got hit in the head with the ball. Excellent tackle from Dan Stone. Though I think Thurrock feeling the pressure of having a man down. Norwich's captain did very well to see that gap. Unfortunately, Thurrock were just not quick enough to react. Putting a lot more pressure on the team, bring it to 31-15.
Sorry about the camera shaking there. That was an overzealous coach slapping where the tripod is strapped to.
Theo Elliott was very quick to take that conversion, most likely wanting to utilise all the time they've got left. So the score is 31-17. Norwich are steadily closing the gap in points. And Thurrock are most likely hoping to have a few repeats of the first half of their game. Dan Stone kicks to Norwich. Excellent catch, but Aaron Atrobus is straight on the tackle. And the referee sees Norwich's knock-on, which gives Thurrock the penalty. This could be a shot for Thurrock to get another try this half. Once again, Thurrock are given the penalty for the early push by Norwich. Excellent tackle from Cameron Horide. Unfortunate that the Thurrock player wasn't brought to ground. And Thurrock are given a third penalty for Norwich not rolling away. And Dan Stone kicks it into touch. I'm sure it's getting quite frustrating, the constant penalties. Personally, I prefer a game to flow, and I'm sure the referee's probably wishing that too. JJ just passes to his teammate from the line out. Straight to the backs, but unfortunately that was infringement of crossing. Norwich are very quick to take the penalty. That was an excellent tackle from Dan Ulf. And I believe the referee is acknowledging that. Although Thurrock continue to back chat and are walked back 10. It's unfortunately a very frequently used rule in men's rugby to not back chat the ref. You'd think most people would avoid it a little bit more. Norwich decide to go far again. And although Thurrock think they've turned over the ball, the referee blows up for a Norwich penalty. And another excellent tackle from Dan Ulf. Although it might have resulted in an injury for Norwich. The injury luckily does not seem to be serious, and fortunately they can get up and carry on playing. Thurrock are given the advantage for a knock-on by Norwich. As Thurrock just escapes the clutches of Tom Lloyd. The ball is kicked downfield to be gathered up by Monty Snary, who attempts to evade Niall Clifford but is still brought to ground. Unfortunately, it seems he might have landed badly on his knee. But excellent break from Norwich. Fantastic tackle by Thurrock that results in a knock-on, giving the penalty to Thurrock. The Thurrock yellow card is now up, so they are back to 15 players. This time a much more successful scrum, although Norwich do well to hold their ground. Dan Stone kicks back into the Norwich half. The ball goes past the dead ball line. So it's called back into the Thurrock half. As another scrum is set up. Norwich struggling to stop the sliding in the mud. So obviously we had rain a little bit before the game, so the pitch is most likely quite soft. Norwich look for the offload but are unable to find one. Bring it back in towards the camera.
Very slippery.
Unsure of what happened there, but Thurrock nonetheless have managed to turn over the ball. I believe that previous fall might have been a rolled ankle. It's a very painful injury to get in rugby. Once again, the ball has gone past the dead ball line. The referee brings it back once again. Thurrock doing very well to control the scrum, but Norwich still get the ball out to the backs. And for a knock-on by Norwich, Thurrock are given the penalty. Although I believe they were complaining about a forward pass there. But obviously, depending on the position of the referee, it can often be quite difficult to tell a forward pass from one in line in a rugby game. Excellent kick once again from Dan Stone, just hitting the floodlight in the far corner. Thurrock prepare for their line out. And it's stolen by Norwich, an excellent steal. I think that was Lawrence Austin who ran into contact but was brought to ground by Cody Holloway once again. He's calling back for a penalty for Norwich. Norwich continue to go to the far side, seeing an overlap in Thurrock's defence. And, once again, the ref calls a Norwich penalty. I think that was Jay Jennings and Lawrence Brown helping each other out with a tackle. The referee stops gameplay for another injury. It appears it might be a head or neck injury, so this might be a bit of a break between gameplay. And, that was Danolf on the floor with an injury, but he's been able to get up and continue playing. So let's hope it's nothing too serious. Norwich continue to push forwards, although he's stopped a bit short by now Clifford. Tom Lloyd continues to push. Rich decides to go back the other way. As they continue trying to put pressure on Thurrock to find a gap in their defence, they manage to find one. And they score another try for this half, bringing the scoreboard ever closer to equalise. That will be bringing Norwich up to 22-31. Quite a difficult kick here for Theo Elliott to get. And the conversion was missed, leaving the score at 22-31. So obviously, as I said, quite a difficult angle, especially with the wind. So it's virtually, well, not quite impossible to get, but certainly very difficult. I think someone has forgotten to get the ball and has left it on the try line, so a replacement's been given. Standstone kicks over to the right side. The ball is stolen and given straight to the hands of Aaron Antrobus. It's quite dangerous for Norwich as they are a decent distance into their half. Although Norwich are given the penalty for Thurrock pushing their own player into contact. Excellent triple tackle from Thurrock. Do well to drive Thurrock backwards, even mid-tackle. Norwich are running a full pelt straight into contact. He's obviously damaging and weakening Thurrock's defence. Thurrock are given the knock-on. Thurrock have taken the ball out of their own scrum. And Alex Jones's dummies held Norwich at bay for a little while before he was taken into contact. Thurrock are given the advantage. Excellent drive from Thurrock, has gained them quite a vast amount of ground, although the referee pulls it back for Norwich not rolling away from the tackle. And Thurrock make the decision to get 3 extra points, as Norwich have been increasingly difficult to score against this half. And this gives Reece quite a good percentage chance of succeeding. Thurrock's main goal at the moment is obviously to maintain their their previously lengthy lead at the start of this half by getting as many points as possible, not risking any. It's a successful kick, which now brings the score to 34-22. Around 10 minutes to go. This is a quite exciting finale to this match. Excellent catch from Aaron Archibus. Once again, the kick is received by Monty Snary, who kicks back into the Thurrock half. Quite an awkward bounce, but nonetheless, Thurrock continues to run around most of the Norwich players. Offloaded into the arms of Ben Timpson. Performs an excellent handoff and another brilliant offload. Unfortunately, stolen by Norwich. It's a fantastic sequence of play from Thurrock. Ball goes into touch in the Thurrock half. Seem to have another hamstring injury on the Norwich side. Another common injury and quite a difficult one to, well, quite a painful one to fix. All you missed there was a Thurrock line out that got stolen by Aaron Archibus right from the end of the line out, but the referee called it back for a Norwich penalty. Excellent rip of the ball by, I think that was Danolf. The referee brings it back for another Norwich scrum, I think, as there was a knock-on. Cody Holloway does very well to release from the scrum early to stop any advancement from Norwich at all, which potentially could have been quite dangerous. Lawrence Brown does well to stop Dave in progressing further, and the ball is stolen by Thurrock. Well, there was a bit of a dangerous high tackle from Cameron Horide. Quick to play as the 5-minute countdown is knocking on the door. Very fast stretch of a pass, straight to the hands of Cameron Horide again. The side of Norwich continue to put pressure on Thurrock. Thurrock maintains their composure and forces the knock-on from Norwich. Norwich do well to drive Thurrock scrum back, although in the confusion, Ben Timpson has managed to get away with the ball. An excellent offload, straight to a very fast running Alex Jones. Norwich determined to not allow Thurrock another try this game. Thurrock continue to push. And the referee calls for Norwich ball there, although the player was clearly off his feet. But what can you do? It's a referee's call. You're doing very well to evade any Thurrock tackles. And this time the referee has given a Thurrock penalty. Although obviously tensions are very high. So it is a very close game. Understandably, everyone is getting probably a little bit aggravated, we'll say. And the referee has overturned his previous call and has now given Norwich the penalty. Unsure why, but this time Dave West runs it into contact. And it's passed to Nick Brown. And the advantage is given to Norwich. I believe that was a high tackle. And then the knock-on by Norwich. The referee has called it back for the previous high tackle. Excellent run into contact from Norwich. And once again, a weakness has been found in the Thurrock defence. And Norwich do well to take advantage of it, as the ball is passing through many hands on the Norwich side. And the referee sees the forward pass from Norwich, and that is the end of the game. I think the crowd disagreed with multiple of the referee's calls there, but I think any Thurrock member probably would as well. But as long as everyone's unhappy, it's a fair game. So the final score at the end of the game is 34-22 to Thurrock. It's, as I said previously, a very exciting game. Thurrock Norwich is always a difficult one for both teams. It's always a 50-50 of who's going to appear victorious. But thank you to everyone watching from both sides. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as the commentary. My apologies for any messing up of names or calls or anything. Next week, Thurrock are home to Chelmsford at Thurrock Oakfield, and tomorrow the Thurrock T-Birds second team are playing at home to Westcliff. And next week, the Thurrock T-Birds are away to Bath, and the second team are away to Aylesford Bulls. Obviously, the live stream will continue next week for the men's game, so we hope to see you then. Thanks for joining us.